All right, what's up, guys? Good morning. Good morning. JMart's back with me. Hey, what's up, man? How you been?
I've been good. I've been good. Working a lot this summer. Finally going on vacation next weekend. So going up to the Pacific Northwest. So definitely will be a nice needed vacation.
Not maybe a little cooler. I moved up to Delaware. I think it's hotter here than it was down in Georgia. So,
Dude, I don't know. We've been up. Actually, it might be. It's been pretty nice down here, honestly.
well, listen. I'm happy you're here. I think we're kind of in the same boat. Depressed Major League Baseball fans as our Orioles and Braves. Thought I had a leg up on you after we swept you, only to fall
Lose.
right back. Well, we have the same record, 43 and 52. It's
Mm-hmm.
So let's start there. Is it the same story as the Orioles, or what's the diagnosis? The Braves pitching, the hitting, the front office. Why are you guys suck this year?
Yeah, I mean the hitting. There is a clear imbalance in the lineup. There are probably two or three lineup spots every game that are just arguably automatic outs. And if you can get any kind of production out of it, it's like a plus. And you can't win games if 7, 8, 9 hole just can't hit. That's three guys in a row that are pretty much easy out. So any rally you get going late from the 4 and 5 guys just dies. And then also the Braves have Chris Sale is out on the 60-day, Spencer Schwellenbach's on the 60-day, Ronaldo Lopez is on the 60-day. You're missing 3 of your 5 starters. There's really just not much you can do unless you're going to buy 10 starting pitchers like the Dodgers did. So the Braves feel kind of just dead in the water, and it's a mix of bad luck and also underperformance, poor management, just kind of a sign that the Braves need to spend money, or they're just going to 2021 will just be a World Series and just completely pass them by.
So they didn't fire the manager. There's no rumors they will. Should they? What's his culpability?
Brian Snicker is a great motivator. When the team's up, he makes sure to get the most out of them. But as far as game management goes, I'd say probably generously, he's a bottom 10 game manager in the MLB. So he's not going to win you games. If you go back to 2019, the Cardinals Braves series, he lost them that series with bad management. If you go back to 2020, he lost at that time. He wins the World Series in 2021 because he has a bullpen that has 7, 8, 9 guys locked up. He can just go 6 innings with a starter and throw each of the relievers 1 inning each game, and it worked. Now he's kind of got to get creative. He's got to learn how to manage a bullpen, use openers, stuff like that. And he's just not good at that. He's old. This isn't the kind of game he was brought up in. And honestly, I don't think at this point with where the Braves are, he's the right manager for the team. They need someone a little more nuanced, and he doesn't really have that. And I think what the plan will most likely be with him is to just let him kind of force him to retire at the end of the season. There's really no reason to fire him and have him go out in disgrace when the team's just not doing anything. And I think it's a little too late to fire him to fix the season.
There's no argument that Acuna just, he missed a lot of the first half of the season. We can't, as Braves fan, we can't just have a nice 10, 15 games here before the deadline, add a couple pieces, get some of these pitchers back and make a run. Are we going to trade? Does it?
I think with the way the Braves are set up now, it'd be the wrong choice to try and buy. The farm system's pretty weak. They have some guys coming up, they draft well every year, but I think you kind of don't want to deplete the farm system even more when your chance of winning would require making the wild card, winning your wild card round, then just going through the divisional championship, and then somehow along the way beating the Dodgers. You're probably gonna have to beat the Yankees. Good chance you run into the Mets or Phillies. They really should kind of look at this. I've battled with this. I think it's just a dead season. I think it's when you just move on from. I think you replace coaching. I think you kind of rework how you view acquiring players and stuff. And they're just going to need to spend money. They're owned by a media group that doesn't want to. The Braves have to, if they want to win a World Series, they're going to have to go into the luxury tax. If they're not really ever planning on going into the luxury tax, there's just no point in getting your hopes up. They're not going to spend enough money to win enough games. Yeah.
Well, let's transition to somebody that does not mind spending any money, and that would be the Mets owner with Steve Cohen. They spent a lot of money. They have Juan Soto. They started off dominating. They kind of fell off a little bit. They're right there with the Phillies. Handicap the Mets for me, and do they need to add anything moving forward?
Well, I mean, the weird part about the Mets is their best additions have been their cheapest ones. Like when they aren't spending as much money, they're picking up like project pitchers. Like it's been working out super well for them. They turned Sean Manaea around. They had Severino looking really good. Like I think Griffin Canning has been a really good, like a really solid starting pitcher for them after being the worst in baseball with the Angels last year. They have a really strong farm system still. They don't have roster spots for half these farm guys. They are kind of in that position now where like it would be doing a disservice to the quality of their farm system by not buying. They need to go and like they have all these prospects that are 2025 ETAs, like 2026. That's when they're supposed to come up, and they don't really have a place to go. These are good prospects. So I think you sell those guys, you add pieces. That's the way you win moving forward. I think like bringing back Severino. Like I know he just signed like a 3-year deal with the A's. He was really good for y'all. Like I think they've been a weird team because like it would be wrong to say they haven't underperformed. I think they could be a better team than they are right now. I think the pitching probably needs the most help because I think the offense is pretty close. But yeah, they're definitely a couple pieces away from being able to compete. I don't think they're as complete as the Phillies or the Dodgers, but again, they have an owner that's willing to spend. They have like the big name guys around him, just a couple role players here and there, some like pitching depth, some bullpen depth, and they're right there with like all the top teams in the National League.
Right. The Phillies, their over-under is 93.5 wins now. The Mets, 91.5 wins. So the odds makers are favoring the Phillies there to end up winning the NL East. What's the Phillies' prognosis here? They have the best starting pitching, right? They have the top 3 starters: Wheeler, Sanchez, and Suarez. Outside of Skeens, are those the 3 best starters in the NL? Period. Like you can make that argument.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can say that. I think it's not that bad of a take. Obviously, like Logan Webb's up there, but like I do think they're right there with them, and to have all 3 of them on the same team is kind of insane.
So do the Phillies need something? Harper's been injured; he should be coming back. They just feel like they've been having the same squad here for a few years, knocking on the door. Obviously, the Diamondbacks, when they beat them 2 years ago, that was their best chance. Last year, they didn't get as close, and here they are again. If you could add something to their team, what would you do?
I think they have holes in their lineup right now. They don't really have as everyday center fielder. Brandon Marsh and I think Johan Rojas have been kind of passing it back and forth, and Rojas can't hit. Marsh really can't do anything well enough to kind of keep him out there. And then like outside of that, like you have Max Kepler. He's been fine, but like I think they have spots in the lineup that are net negatives that they need to kind of like flip into something better. I've seen them rumored for like a Jaron Duran. I've seen like Luis Robert rumors. Like they need to go out because again, they have a pretty solid farm system too. They have like 4 or 5 guys that like other teams want. I think this is the year they have to flip them. Like Zach Wheeler's not getting younger. Harper's not getting younger. Really, their whole team isn't. They really got to go for it eventually.
Yeah, they added Hayes last year from the Orioles. That didn't get them over the top. They probably need a batter too. The Marlins and the Nationals, because we're going to do the National League, you and I here for another 15, 20 minutes, and then I'm going to do the American League with Clayton. But what are they worth talking about here as we round out teams trying to figure out how to get in the playoffs? The Nationals and Marlins are both loaded with young talent. They both seem like a year away. Is there any chance one of them gets hot and makes a run?
I mean, the Marlins did a lot. The Nationals can. Like, they're just a little too bad up to this point. They're not deep enough. They don't have the pitching. They have the offensive, like, high-end stuff, but then they have a lot of filler that just won't win you anything. The Marlins are, like, staying in it, like, pretty well. This is a thing they've been pretty good at, is being, like, comfortably a little below average. I think if they get hot, it's possible. I just don't see it happening, and I think their right decision for them to make is to just sell. Anyone that's old, anyone they don't see as like long term.
What's the value? What's the value with Alcantara? Like,
I think you can get because the contract's still good. He did win a Cy Young. I think it's a trade that's going to be weird to see what happens because I don't think teams are going to want to give up a lot for him, but I don't think the Marlins are going to let him go for cheap because there's really just no need for them to do that. Like, who knows? Like, his value's pretty low already. It can really only go up from here.
Yeah. Can't let the Marlins pass without referencing Kyle Stowers, who's like just put a dagger into the Orioles the other day. But when I look at the Marlins and I look at their core after watching them for 3 games, yeah, they're just the team you don't want to play down the stretch. right, from a betting standpoint, one of the biggest mistakes people make betting on baseball is, with about 15, 20 games left, it's like, well, this team's out of it. They got nothing to play for. And you start taking Dodgers minus a run and a half, Yankees minus a run and a half, try to get some easy money. You lost your football money on Sunday. There's 2 weeks left of baseball regular season. And it's the worst thing you can do if you're betting against like the young team who's just excited. You need to make sure you're betting against the wrong crappy team at the end of the year. And the Marlins won't be that. So whatever their record is, I would be careful betting against them down the stretch. All right, NL Central. So you ultimately think the Phillies will pull out the NL East?
Yeah, I think the Mets probably have a higher ceiling, but I think the Phillies, like Dave Dombrowski as their GM, he's going to buy players. He's going to if you tell him to go all in, he will go all in. I see them winning. I think that they have to understand the position they're in here. No Braves this year makes it a lot easier. I think they got to go for it.
What's the feeling on the Cubs? Can they win the World Series? And if not, what would they need to add in order to do that?
The Cubs need a starting pitcher, and I think they probably need some more real bullpen guys. They've had a lot of really good performances from guys that for the past couple of years just haven't been that good. They're getting a lot out of them, and the numbers look true. It looks like these guys are actually really good again. They do have Craig Counsell there, so it does kind of like make sense. This is what he did in Milwaukee. He was really good at it. Mm-hmm. I think they're good, and I think they feel like that sleeper kind of team. They feel like, again, those Craig Counsell Brewers teams that always look super good as like a dark horse going into the playoffs. They have the ability to go buy pieces. I don't think they need outfield. I think they're pretty well like shored up, honestly, offensively. I think go out there, get another arm. The farm system's good enough to get you someone pretty decent. I'd say go for it, but then like priority number one should like be like you have to bring back Kyle Tucker. And this all like revolves around what your plan is with Kyle Tucker. If he's just here for 1 year, you got to go all in. If you're going to re-sign him, you can maybe take it a little slower, but they need to know what their plan is with him. I think if you see them buy big, that means Kyle Tucker won't be back next year. I think if you see him take it a little more conservative, you got to assume that they're going to extend him.
Because Justin Steele, their best pitcher going into the year, is out for the year.
Yeah.
And, they're 94.5 wins. If you had to bet on that, would you take over or under at this point?
Probably the under. That's a really high number. That's more than the Phillies. That's crazy. Yeah. I don't see that. If you could bet between the Cubs and Phillies ending with more wins, I definitely take the Phillies on that.
You can bet on anything. You go through the app. If you want to bet on that, you 100% can find that somewhere.
But yeah, like I can see the Cubs getting there. It'll be interesting to see, and like they're just gonna need to make smart moves at the deadline to not mess with a team that feels like there's a lot of chemistry building, like pushing them forward, and like again, like it's a lot of overperformance from guys you just didn't expect to see that from.
What about the Brewers? They seem to have great baseball karma. Everything they do seems to just keep working. Their lineup is just filled with guys that make content. They do. I mean, you look through the statistics of them, and you can't find them like they just boom check off a lot of boxes. Here they are again. Are they going to go for it? Can they go for it? What's their ceiling?
They're deep enough to go to like be able to sell some guys. They have like 3 kind of guys like in the South for like Garrett Mitchell style like genre of like power or contact hitters, super quick. That's kind of their whole game. Like their lineup top to bottom is like basically 1 WAR to 2 WAR. Like everyone's kind of in that range. Mm-hmm. I think the lineup's good. I haven't really ever seen the Brewers buy at the deadline. They've never been a team to like add offense at the deadline. They don't really feel the need to. They'd probably do something small. I just don't expect anything major from them.
Let me interject. So I've been torturing myself with Ryan O'Hearn trade rumors. So before you bring him up, I'll just bring it up. He keeps linking every time I Google him, trade rumors. The Brewers seem to be the perfect spot for him. Probably because of what you said. They don't. That's like the market they're shopping in. Orioles fans have to be prepared. The Ryan O'Hearn return, God forbid we trade him. I hope we don't, but it's just not a gigantic return. He's 32. His contract is expiring, and that feels like a piece for the Brewers. I hope they don't. Anyway.
I think it makes sense. They need power, and they need lefty power, and Ryan O'Hearn's really good for that and tends to perform pretty well in middle markets, not major ones. And I mean, he seems the real deal. Like he's hitting well, and the numbers say that this isn't just
It's the Brewers, right? Like all the
yeah.
time that just doesn't strike out in time. What's the hardest thing, or maybe not the hardest thing, but maybe the most it could go either way to be in the Cardinals front office here. What would you do if you were them? They have a really old roster, a bunch of attractive pieces. Like they're kind of in the Orioles boat where there's a ton of pieces that they could just trade off and retool. I think that was the plan going into the season. If they were reverse record 46-51, we wouldn't have this conversation. But 51-46 in a baseball town where the team, can you talk yourself into the Cardinals making a couple moves and winning the NL Central, or what would you do?
Here's the Cardinals, they're gonna buy. Like they're gonna, because I think buying for them is probably the wrong decision. I think they should maybe wait it out. They're still a pretty young team outside of like Arenado and yeah, I think that they should just kind of sit back. Arenado isn't the same guy. He's fine, but you obviously want more out of him. They're going to buy. I've never really seen the Cardinals in the past 10 years make the right decision. They kind of always seem to make the wrong one. And this is, I think, no different. I think I can see them overpaying. I think the pitching staff is super young, so I think they should be smart with that. I don't think they're going to do that. I think they're going to probably force it where it's just kind of not there. And honestly, if I were them, it feels like the right one to sell. You have Ryan Helsley that teams will want, and I think he's other side of 30 now, so you can kind of get a good bid for him.
Yeah, he might be the top guy if available at the back end of a bullpen. They have
I think you do that. Sonny Gray's 35 now. I don't think you really plan on needing him. See if anyone wants Miles Michaelis. I don't think they will. And then you have Eric Fetty. Can you flip him back? He's been bad, but can you get anything of value out of him? They're a young team. Their timelines are kind of mixed up, especially between pitching and hitting. I think you kind of want to streamline the timeline, make it all kind of make sense, because they're just kind of a weird amalgamation of players right now. I don't really see much of a path to winning a World Series in this roster right now.
What about the Reds? Can the Reds make a move?
I think they've been really smart about kind of letting the young core develop, and it's been working really well. And again, I think you don't want to make moves that make it so Chase Burns can't pitch anymore. You want to keep him, you want to try and develop him easily. You don't want to block him at any point. You want to let him, you kind of need to make your emphasis, develop all our really good guys right now, see what happens, just move on from there. And I think they're doing that well. If you win some games here, you win some games. Close in the wild card, I think they should see making the wild card as the icing on top. It shouldn't be the goal or anything.
All right, we're going to end with the Dodgers. I'm going to skip over the Diamondbacks because they're going to have to sell all their players. I don't think there's any other way around it, especially without Burns. That would be the prudent thing to do. Who they get rid of will be fascinating, but I want to skip over them, and I don't think the Rockies and the Pirates have much of a chance, so we're going to skip over them as well. Giants. I like the Giants before the season. They made a bunch of moves. What do they need to do? They're right in the thick of it. Handicap them. They already got Devers. Obviously, that was the biggest move they're going to make. Is there something else they have, or are they just going to ride it out with the team?
I mean, they're a really solid team. I've always loved their lineup. I think they blend contact hitting and power hitting, speed, and just average running super well. They work so well as a team. I think offensively, they're pretty good. I think they're in a good spot. You can maybe pick up a bat, but again, I'm looking at this lineup. There's one guy that's below one WAR, and it's Lamont Wade that they're listing at first base, and that's Devers now. He's not the first baseman anymore. They don't have a hole offensively, in my opinion, at all. Devers looks like he'll be a good bit better with the Giants, I hope. And then the pitching is fine. Obviously, you want to add some pieces. I don't think Verlander's a guy you want on that roster if you're going to try and make the playoffs. Just hasn't been good. And it sucks to say, but he's probably too old now, finally. It took a while, but I don't think it's there anymore. I think you got to add starting pitching, but I don't think the bullpen needs much work. Doval, Rodriguez, Tyler Rogers look pretty great. I think they're set in the bullpen. I think you need one, maybe two starters.
What about the Padres? Who do you think finishes higher, Giants or Padres?
Well, the Padres are going to buy heavy. They're going to buy probably more than the Giants at the deadline. They have wanted Luis Robert for the past couple off seasons. They have a general manager that's just going to push all the chips in, kind of not care about anything. I know he's probably shouldn't keep doing that, but he can't help himself here. I think he's going to try and do it again. If they buy well and it ends up like a last season kind of thing where they end up looking a lot better, that'll be good. They'll finish above the Giants. If they buy poorly, do kind of like the Juan Soto, Josh Hader, push all the chips in and doesn't really work, they'll be below the Giants. It really comes down to like how smart they are with the moves they make, and you kind of can't really gauge it because of how like their general manager is so erratic and will just push the chips in even if it's a bad deal.
They want to beat the Dodgers so bad,
and they just can't. Like it's so bad they can't win. They don't win those series. It's oh god, it's
so Mookie Betts. Let's do this. What's Mookie Betts doing? All right, Mookie Betts batting 244. Dodgers lost 7 in a row like a week ago, and they're 58 and 39. They have all these injuries. It's absurd. The way I'd like you to talk about the Dodgers before I let you roll out of here is from a betting standpoint. Would you bet on them now? Is this the best value you're going to get? If you want to bet on the Dodgers for the future, the more that trades happen, potential injuries as the season goes on, it's going to go up and down, up and down. But right now, I'm just pull it up when I'm looking at, you get Dodgers at plus 250 to win the World Series, minus 120 to win the NL, or no, plus 140, excuse me, plus 140 to win the NL, plus 250 to win the World Series. So somewhere roughly in that range. Is it time to just put all your money on the Dodgers, or could the Mets, Phillies, Cubs get them? Go for it. Talk to me about the Dodgers.
I mean, obviously, for like those are like insane numbers for like winning the World Series, especially in baseball. It's so random, but like, yeah, it's the Dodgers. Like, they're probably going to win it. I look at this lineup; it's still nuts. You've had Andy Pages come out of nowhere. He's like the second best player on their team now, maybe third. I think you got to take him. Like, I think this lineup is so deep. There's talent everywhere. I think every single person on this bench, arguably, I want on the Braves, and they're not even starting for them. You go to the pitching, it's even deeper. This is a team built for October. They have, like, again, 10 starters probably that can all play. I think the arms won't get sore. They'll have everyone rested for the playoffs, and they can switch in and out guys based off if they're performing well. I'm sure they've thought it all out. The bullpen's also really good. I think they're probably going to add a little to the bullpen because I know they have a couple holes there. But, like, yeah, I mean, you just take the Dodgers right now. Like, even if you put, like, only, like, half a unit on it, just, like, sprinkle something there, like, they're probably going to win. It's the smart way to bet. Obviously, I think the fun one would be, like, going the Phillies route. I think they'd be, like, a fun option. If you're not going to bet Dodgers, and then obviously, like, who knows, maybe like the Yankees somehow pull it off. But the Dodgers probably win. All I've seen contenders fall off, and I haven't really seen any new contenders added this year.
Well, you were right. We haven't talked since the Thunder beat the Pacers. So you did say that whenever we were talking in the regular season about basketball. It's like, I think the smart money just takes the Thunder. Sometimes the smart money is just on the favorite. You don't have to overthink it. Appreciate you. I know you got to roll. So, I'll see you soon. We're going to definitely got a bunch of things happening here for football season. But I figured fellow depressed baseball fans could talk about other baseball teams here for a few minutes. Appreciate it. And, take care. I'll see you soon.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, see you, man.
All right, bro. Bye.